Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'd like to call the Will County Executive Committee Board meeting to order at 10:02 a.m. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And I would like to invite Annette Linko. Would you mind leading us this morning?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Annette. Can we have a roll call, Sandy? Where's my controls here? Oh, I guess right here. Thank you.
Richmond. Butler.
Here.
Dean Schlattman.
Here.
Freeman.
Here.
Hickey.
Here.
Logan. Newquist.
Here.
Ortiz. Pretzel.
Here.
Trenier. Williams. Van Dyne.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the Will County Executive Committee assignment meeting, November 7th, 2024. Thank you. Discussion on the minutes? Roll call?
Richmond.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Dean Schlattman.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Hickey.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Logan.
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes.
Ortiz. Pretzel.
Yes.
Trenier. Williams.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the Will County Executive Committee Board agenda setting meeting on November 14th. Thank you. Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. No old business, I don't believe, to bring forward this morning, so we'll move on to new business. And it looks like we have a pretty healthy agenda. So let's start with number one, raffle license waiver provisional request from the Belmont Athletic Club. Is there a motion to put it on the floor? Discussion? Questions? I want to say this is absolutely not the first time and probably not the last that the Belmont Athletic Club and the next one, the Will County Beekeepers Association, has asked our executive committee to waive their fees. I think they're very nominal. Michael Mahoney would have more information. He said, oh, is he here? Okay. Good morning, Mike. Okay, I don't like this at all. All
Yeah,
right.
if there's any questions, I'll be happy
Chuck
to
needs
answer them.
to learn how to work.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta look for numbers and, okay, good morning, Mike. Sorry.
Good morning. Yeah, any questions on this, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions from the committee members?
I don't recall the Belmont Club. I do remember the beekeepers and yeah, I don't have any problem. I mean, we had to approve this process a few years ago to make it possible for folks to ask for a waiver, and it is a nominal fee. And yeah, seems like it's paperwork takes more time than paying the fee, but if they want to do the paperwork, I guess we're okay.
$25 is $25, right?
Yep.
Micah, question?
Do we know exactly what
I'm fine.
the raffles for?
Good
I
good
didn't
question.
see.
I am familiar with the Belmont raffles. They run monthly raffles for small prizes throughout the year, like dollar tickets. Yeah, yeah. This is the fee and the bond. And the Beekeepers Association, they're doing a raffle in unincorporated Will County, and what the prize is, I don't know, but it's below any threshold that was significant.
Okay, thank you.
Dan?
So for the athletic club, it's every month, every week they're doing a raffle?
This is a annual raffle license for them, and they run regular raffles. I think the Beekeepers is more of 2 or 3 events a year.
So we're only talking about 25 for the whole year?
Correct.
And they run these things through?
Right, that's why. this is
Doesn't
the big-
seem like a lot of money
Yeah.
for all that.
No.
Okay. So there is a motion and a second. Any previous? Previous rule to approve? Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Motion to, sure. Destiny, you're invited to come join us if you want.
Sit number 8, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, I apologize, I couldn't see.
2 months.
yep, you're correct. No, that's okay. Yeah, I was heading for number. Thank you.
Second. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. All right, authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents for delinquent tax program. Motion in second.
Second, Nucleus.
Previous roll. Can you keep up, Sandy? Very good. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Number 4, intergovernmental agreement for paratransit service. Discussion, Mr. Richmond?
So I know we had that, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. And I know this document, we have to redo it every single year. And I don't know who, maybe it's Chuck or who he addresses to, maybe it's Mike, I don't know. Can we get an update of what the changes have been over the past couple of years? And are there any significant changes in this document year over year from last year?
Yes.
I did notice there was like the dollar amount went up. Yeah, I didn't know who to ask. So under section of funding, the dollar amount went up. So I guess is that the only change?
I have a list here of the folks that brought these items forward. So I have Elaine Bottomley with the executive office here this morning. So good morning, Elaine.
Good morning. Happy to answer any questions that you all might have about the IGA. Overall, there really aren't any substantial changes to this agreement. It's really kind of just been boilerplate language. We did have this reviewed by attorney, so got the okay on that. I do believe you're correct that the only change that's substantial would be the funding component of it. And I think those numbers really just updated to reflect the rising costs of everything else. So they really don't have an impact on our program or anything like that, but I do believe those have been updated.
Okay, and I guess the other question is when we get something like this that's like 7, 8 pages or that,
Mhm.
to go back and try and compare word for word, is there any way to get like a red line or that would give us some idea of what changes are? Because I know everybody here works a full-time job and that, and it's, instead of having them try and do some kind of comparison on all these different documents, if we could just have like a red line version, I think it would streamline the process, maybe eliminate some questions, things like that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Would you prefer to see a red line on the agenda for full county board?
Since you're asking, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Thank you. If it's not too much trouble.
yeah.
I think we can make
Thank
that
you.
work.
All right. Any other question? Oh yeah, Jackie. Go ahead.
Yes, Board Member Trenier has a question.
Sorry, Board
Thank
Member
you.
Trenier,
Chair Van Dyne.
Speaker Van Dyne.
Speaker, well, you're the chair at the moment. You're the chair at the moment. So, I mean, I know we've done this every year and I always think of it as a part of the Will Ride program. Does this include the new townships that we've added on? Okay,
Yes,
That-
it does.
That's in part why probably the cost has changed.
Correct, yes.
Because we added, what, 3 new townships?
Well, from last year to this year, it's an addition of, I want to say 6 townships. So if you go down to, I want to say page 10, there should be a map of the service area.
Ah, okay, I didn't go that far. I looked at the dollar amount and just kind of stopped. Because I do get the reports weekly because I'm a township in the county. Even though we're not a part of this yet, I don't believe, unless somebody's done something and didn't tell us. But we're not a part of it yet, so. Okay, so it includes all of the townships in the lower portion of the county. That big hunk on the left, that's me and Wheatland and others, Plainfield and Troy and Joliet, we're still out of the box, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions or comments? So looking for a previous roll.
Previous Newquist.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. The next 11, 12, 13 items are all transportation. Mr. Ronaldson, be prepared to, if you want to make your way up, maybe there may be a question or two. So I'll start with number 5 on our agenda, confirming award of contract to various contractors for the countywide maintenance material bituminous patching all districts.
Motion Freeman. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Number 6, confirming award of contract to various contractors for the countywide maintenance material bituminous prime. Sounds like a transformer to me, but all county board member districts. Is there a motion?
Motion Freeman. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Confirming award of contract to various contractors for the various aggregate in all districts.
Motion Freeman. Second Dean Schlafly.
Questions, concerns? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, confirming award of contract to various contractors for countywide maintenance materials, sign materials for all the districts. Okay, I'll stop there then. There is a question, Mike, Board Member Freeman?
Yeah, can you explain what sign materials are?
Sure. Sign materials range from a number of things of the facings you see on signs to stop signs themselves. So it's just the materials slap on the metal backing or the posts themselves, the nuts and bolts of the signs, that kind of thing.
So it's like what makes the indent on the sign or?
No, it's the red itself with the lettering is all like one facing material. So it's like it's one material, and then you slap that onto a metal backing. So materials is general. Different things make up a sign. The material that you see, the metal behind it, and the posts. There's also flags and some other various traffic control items in that.
All right, I was just curious. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on the materials, the sign materials previous? Thank you.
Second Newquist.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, confirming award of contract to various contractors for the sheet metal, sheet aluminum sign panels in all our districts.
Second, Vicky.
Second Dean Schlafly.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, adopting IDOT resolution for the improvement by county under the Illinois Highway Code for countywide maintenance material. All the districts using our MFT funds, $4,817,920.
Motion Freeman. Second Newquist. Williams.
Questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. Number 11, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement for design engineering services with the second phase with Terra Engineering for West River Road, County Highway 26 from Coal City Road North to 53, District 1.
Motion Dean Schlafly.
Second Richmond.
Previous.
Discussion, sure. Member Newquist, good morning.
I just have a quick question. Good morning.
morning.
So the supplemental agreement, so this is an agreement in addition to the original agreement?
Yes, the original agreement is what got us to a certain point, and then various things came
This
up
gets
during the
us to the-
design. So we have to amend the contract to add additional dollars to cover that additional work we have to do.
Okay,
It's
got it.
additional.
Thank you.
Any other additional questions? Frankie has a previous role. Second Trinier. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, authorizing the appropriation of MFT funds, $102,870 for supplemental professional design engineering services for the same stretch of road, District 1.
Motion. Blattman. Previous. Second Newquist.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion will carry. 13, authorizing an agreement between the County of Will and Northern Illinois Gas Company for the reimbursement for relocating facilities for the improvements of Gauger over the CN Railroad, County Board District 2.
Motion.
Second Richmond.
Question, Member Freeman?
What does DBA stand for?
Doing business.
Great question. There you go.
Business as, yeah.
Okay.
We have a lot of acronyms in engineering, but that is not one of mine.
I know there was a time where everybody wanted the acronym spelled out, but if we sit here long enough, we'll get to remember. Is there a previous role? Thank you.
Second Richmond.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed on that? Motion carries. 14, authorizing approval of professional services supplemental agreement for the right-of-way acquisitions services with negotiations with Hanson Professional Services for Laraway Road, County Highway 74 and US Route 52. Those are in Districts 2 and 6.
Second Richmond.
Previous Newquist.
Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion will carry. God bless you. 15, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for supplemental design engineering services. The second phase with Christopher Burke Engineering on 135th County Highway 35 and 1,200 feet east of Smith Road to Emily Lane, District 9.
Second Newquist.
Second Richmond.
Second, Richmond, previous Newquist, and seconded by Dean Schlattman. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion will carry. 16, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement for design engineering services, the second phase with EXP US Services on Bell Road, County Highway 16, from 151st Street North to Martingale Lane, District 4.
Second Richmond.
Previous Newquist. Second Dean Schlattman.
Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. Number 17, intergovernmental agreement for improvements at the intersection of Cedar Road, County Highway 4 and Francis Road, County Highway 64 in District 5.
Previous Richmond.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. And last, under transportation, granting ingress and egress for a new business on Manhattan Money Road, County Highway 6 in District 3.
Second Newquist.
Any last questions for Mr. Ronaldson? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry.
Thank you, committee.
A question for the chair.
Oh,
Are we going, I'm assuming since these were all unanimous, this would be one of our first consent agenda items.
I would, hope so. Yeah.
I wanted to
And
ask that question.
yeah, and as we remember, if there's any item that any board member at any time wants anything removed, we can vote on all of them except for that particular one. So there's always an option. So very, very good question. And thanks for bringing that up. I think it may be useful. Bituminous material, I know. Okay, is there,
I'll make that motion. Projects onto a consent agenda.
we'll do that now until we hear different.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have,
Mary.
okay, all right. So there is a motion to put Public Works and Transportation agenda items on the consent agenda for the full board. There's a second, previous, and a second. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. All right. Let's see how that works out. Okay, the next three are land use and, Chair Pretzel, I may have to lean on you a little bit on this if need be, but, I'll start with number 19. Ordinance amending the Will County, Illinois zoning ordinance adopted and approved by September 9th, 1947. Zoning case 24-076, Midwest Capital Investments. Owner of record, Rigoberto Gonzalez, agent requesting a special use, 24-081. Permit for ancillary liquor service. Variance 24-233, minimum setback from 30 to 28.11. There's the PIN numbers are listed there. It's in Jackson Township, commonly known as 23956 South Route 53 Elwood, County Board District 2. And typically, I believe Chair Pretzel, you always invite staff to come up to give us a quick briefing. Hey. Okay, you make the motion. Is there a second? Thank you. Mr. Jesus Brincino, welcome from Land Use. Let me turn you on, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll be giving over a brief overview of zoning case 24076. The owner of the property, as you mentioned, is Midwest Capital Investments LLC, with Leonard Libersher having 100% interest, and the agent is Rigoberto Gonzalez. The property address is 23956 Route 53 in Elwood, and is within County Board District 2. The agent, Rigoberto, operates Los Cantaros restaurant from the property. This is actually the site of Mr. B's Bar and Grill, if any of you are aware of where that is, which has since closed down. So Mr. B's previously had an approved special use for ancillary liquor, which has become void since Mr. B's has closed down. The applicant is requesting a special use permit for ancillary liquor to allow the guests to order an alcoholic beverage to go alongside with their meal. If the special use permit is approved, it will not allow the restaurant to sell packaged liquor. A more in-depth analysis of the criteria used to analyze special use permit can be found in the staff report, but to summarize, the staff found that the special use permit will not endanger public health, will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property, will not impede the normally ordered development of surrounding property, and that adequate utilities are being provided to the property. So at the Planning and Zoning Commission, there were no objections to this case. The commission voted 6-0 to approve the special use permit. A variance request for minimum street setback from 30 feet to 28.11 feet was part of the zoning application, but the variance request, as mentioned before, was heard and approved at the Planning and Zoning Commission on November 19th. So the only vote taking place today would be just for the special use permit for ancillary liquor. The applicant is intended to move forward with acquiring the liquor license if the special use permit is approved from the Liquor Commissioner's Office. Section 110.005 of the Liquor Control Ordinance designates the hours in which the business can sell liquor on a licensed premises. With that said, staff did recommend approval of the special use permit, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
All right, great. Thanks for filling us in on that one. Member Trenier?
Yes, I had a question, but you answered it. I wondered if they already had an existing liquor license. They don't, they'll be applying.
Yes.
So if we grant this variance and they don't get their license, then the variance really means nothing.
Right, the special use.
Yeah, the special use. Thank you.
Member Pretzel? Oh, did I just
Yeah,
not?
I made the motion. No, it's still on.
Oh, okay. All right. All the questions answered? There was a motion and a second. Is there a previous roll? Thank you. Second, Richmond. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 20, ordinance amending the Will County, Illinois zoning ordinance adopted and approved September 9th. Zoning case 24-074, Victor H. Louis Herta. And this is probably the worst part of these land use cases is the pronouncing names if you don't know the person. So I'm going to apologize now for the next 2 years. Mr. Herta is requesting a map amendment 24016 from R4 to C3. Variance 24270 for lot area from 10,919 square feet to 12,000 square feet. Another variance for the distance from right of way of a dedicated street from 100 feet to 15. A variance from the right of way dedicated street from State Street from 100 feet to 45. Variance for fence height within the street setback from 4 feet to 7. Another variance for fence height with setback at State Street from 4 feet to 6. The PIN number is listed. It's in Lockport Township, commonly known as 3300 State Street, Lockport, Illinois, and that is in County Board District 5. And I would like to welcome Ashlyn Kirby. Good morning from Land Use.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So for ZC 24074, the applicant is requesting approval of a map amendment from R4 to C3 to use the land for storage of rental equipment. At the PZC meeting on November 19th, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to approve the associated 5 variances with a vote of 6-0. As mentioned previously, the variances are not being voted on at this meeting. Property is in the southern portion of Lockport Township. The city of Lockport is about 0.2 miles northwest. City of Joliet is about 0.3 miles to the south, and city of Crest Hill is about 0.3 miles to the west of the property. Property owner owns Happy Bouncers, a rental service that rents bouncy houses and party rental equipment. The equipment is proposed to be stored in between event rentals. The company currently operates at 315 North Independence Boulevard in Romeoville. The applicant has indicated the use will generate about 3 vehicle trips daily, and the property will be open every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Additionally, the applicant has indicated that the intended use will not be open to the general public. All equipment being stored outside that is not available for rent will be required to follow the screening provisions of section 155-12.80 and 155-14.100. Per the submitted site plan, the applicant is proposing to screen the use by installing a privacy fence around the property. Looking at the map amendment review criteria and standards, full analysis can be found in your staff reports, but to summarize, it's staff's professional opinion that the proposed use would be compatible with the existing uses in the vicinity. Additionally, the proposed zoning change would also be compatible with the existing zonings in the surrounding area. Of the agencies notified, no one objected. At the November 19th PZC meeting, there was no concerned citizens, and PZC recommended approval of the map amendment with a vote of 6-0. With that being said, staff is recommending approval of the map amendment, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I think we had a motion and a second to put on the floor, and I do see Member Trenier has a question.
Thank you, Chair Van Dyne. Are they building a building here? They're going to store like bouncy houses outside?
Yeah, so on the site plan, I do believe they're proposing.
I didn't see the building anywhere. Sometimes I don't scroll far enough. I'm definitely guilty.
It should be on the back, but they are proposing like a 60 by something building. I could pull up. Yeah,
Like a pole barn.
yeah,
Okay.
for office use and storage.
Yeah, kind of surprised the neighbors aren't against it. I understand, 3 cars a day and all of that. And probably they'd prefer to at least have something there versus a vacant lot that's kind of an eyesore.
Yeah, looking at historical aerials, it looks like it's been vacant since it was established. So.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Member Hickey?
Oh, yes. I have, so.
Okay, my question is, maybe it's covered and I'm just not seeing it, but how many cars, trucks are they allowed to park on this property outdoors? Do you know, is there any limitation?
Outdoors. To my understanding, the applicant's not parking like trucks. I'll have to look at what the limit would be for that, but when I talked to the applicant, he was only proposing one like rental truck that would be for personal use.
Okay, but is there anything that is limiting how many can be parked on the property at any time?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So essentially with the site development permit, they would have to park whatever they're parking in parking spaces. They would basically have to keep drive aisles free and clear for fire protection and emergency services. And with that, that would limit how much they can really store on site. So it's really
Okay.
based on site.
With before I knew the size of the building, it seemed like there was a lot of surface area. With that size building, there's not going to be as much. So with all those limitations, thank you very much.
Thank you. Member Freeman.
So I have, I have a question about the fence. Is it already built?
It is.
But they're asking for a variance on it, but you said we aren't voting on the variance.
The variances was approved at the November 19th PZC meeting. We don't require building permits for fence. So if the variances were denied, they would have had to alter that.
Okay, because I think one of the variances, wasn't it to move it closer to the road? Or the height?
It was the height. Both of the variances were due to the height.
Was-
Since it's a, oh, sorry.
I have to ask, was the fence built before the approval?
Yes.
So they did it without permission?
We don't require building permits for fences.
Okay.
So if the variances for the fence height was denied, then they would have to alter that, but we don't require permits for that.
Okay. And then I just, to make sure we're covering everything, do we have to have, for land use, do we have to have a public hearing before the full board? Because I know used to we had land use and we would open up to public hearing, and we're not having that today. So I just want to be sure we're covering all of our bases.
Yeah, so Marguerite Kenny with Will County Land Use. The public hearing was the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. So that was held November 19th.
So legally
For
we'll be
this.
okay when we just have the public hearing at full board.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next, Member Trenier.
Just a follow-up question. So will they bring forward building permit, everything for the building? And now, if I understood you correctly, the only people parking there are going to be the employees. This is not open to the public. I think you said that. I just wanted to confirm.
Correct.
So there won't be public coming to pick up a bounce house or something.
When I talked to the applicant, that wasn't his intention.
Yeah.
But I could see, incidental, if they have that as a storage to have people come and pick up like chairs or party equipment from time to time. But,
Okay. All right, thank you.
yeah.
No, usually they put them on a trailer and they tow them to the site and then they come back and pick them up on the trailer. That's why I'm thinking there's not really going to be any public coming and going at this place.
Right.
It really is their employees taking out a bounce house, bringing it back, taking out, bringing it back. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, as I saw the lights come on, I go to Mr. Butler.
Yeah, okay, so I'm getting a better feel for this. So they're just storing their equipment there so they can rent it out. So are they gonna pave it or is it just gonna stay dirt? I mean, are you gonna be driving trucks in and out with dirt going on the street if it's raining? Like,
I'm not entirely sure what their plan is, but for the parking area, we do have like parking lot requirements that they would be required to follow. But for the actual like rental equipment area, I'm not entirely sure what the applicant intends to do for that.
something to consider, because otherwise we're gonna be getting all kinds of complaints about trucks going in and out and the mud going on the street and who's gonna clean the street.
that follow up? Okay. Member Newquist.
Thank you. You know, when I first looked at this, I was thinking, why would we recommend approval? This is in the middle of an R4. You know, everywhere's an R4. But then when I looked at it, I see that little like triangular section is all commercial now. But one thing I was trying to figure out, you know how there's the parcel in question, and then there's a small R4, and then there's the commercial after that. I couldn't tell from the packet, what's in that R4 that's in between the subject parcel and the commercial zoning area?
Just to confirm, the parcel directly south
Yes.
of the subject.
Yeah.
To my understanding, that's a single family residence.
Okay, and they haven't complained or anything, right?
I haven't heard any
Okay,
comments, yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from board members, committee members? Help remind me, I believe I'm looking for a previous role. Thank you. Second, Dean Schlappman. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. And number 21, an ordinance amending the Will County, Illinois zoning ordinance adopted and approved, amended the zoning case 24-067 Jackson Creek Fellowship Church, owner of record Michael Shepard, the officer, Bill Houlihan of Absolute Advertising agent requesting a special use permit 24075 for dynamic digital display, a variance for the display portion of the sign from 50% to 63% of the total area, a variance for the minimum setback of the sign face from residential structure from 300 to 170, variance for minimum setback from the street right away for freestanding sign from 10 feet to 2 feet, variance for maximum height of freestanding sign in the residential zoning district from 8 feet to 11. PIN number is listed here, and it's located in Green Garden Township, commonly known as 25800 South Center Road, Moni, Illinois, District 3. Can I have a motion? Motion and a second, and we will just stop right there and open this brief explanation up to Ashlyn Kirby again. Thank you.
Thank you. So the applicant is requesting approval of a special use permit for a dynamic digital display to add a sign with the dynamic digital display on the property. At the Planning and Zoning meeting on November 19th, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to deny the variance request number 4, variance for minimum setback from a street right of way for a freestanding sign from 10 feet to 2 feet. However, all other variance requests were approved. As a reminder, the variances are not being voted on at this meeting. Property is in the center part of Green Garden Township. The Castle Gate Planned Unit Development is to the south, and the County Club Estate Subdivision is to the east of the subject property. The Jackson Creek Fellowship Church currently uses the site. Per the application, the church is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and Sundays from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. The church has 3 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees. Per the site plan, the applicant is proposing to install a 10 by 7.5 foot ground-mounted sign, including a 4.5 by 8.3 foot digital display included in the sign. If approved, the dynamic display portion of the sign will be required to follow the regulations of Section 155-13.70D of the Will County zoning ordinance, which regulates the minimum dwell time of the display, the maximum brightness of the sign, and no special effects. The applicant is required to receive approval of a building permit where zoning will verify the sign will meet all the requirements of the zoning ordinance. Of the agencies notified, no one objected. The Green Garden Township heard the zoning request on November 11th. The Green Garden Board voted to vote in favor of the special use with a vote of 5-0 and included recommendations to add 3 conditions. This was sent out as a memo. At the Planning and Zoning meeting on November 19th, 2 concerned citizens attended the meeting, voicing concerns with the dynamic display sign being a distraction along Center Road, loss of property value, and the brightness of the sign. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted to add a 4th condition stating the sign will not be illuminated from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. and recommended approval of the special use with the amended 4 conditions with the vote of 6-0. Staff is recommending approval of the special use with the amended 4 conditions, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, you may have misspoke. I want to verify they agreed, or they would not be illuminated from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Correct?
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
9 p.m. to 6.
Yeah, I Yeah,
Yes, the sign will not be
I
illuminated.
seen some looks in the crowd here and just
Sorry
wanted,
about that.
just for the record, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I see Mr. Butler first, and then I'll go to Mr. Pretzel and then Ms. Trinier. So, Mr. Butler.
So the conditions that have to be met are that the sign is not illuminated between those hours, right? And then there was also something about putting plants up or bushes and stuff to block the lights.
That was recommended by the Green Garden Township, but the Planning and Zoning Board did not include that as a condition. I believe the executive committee could add conditions to this as well at this meeting, so if that's a condition that you're interested in adding.
Yeah, I definitely will be interested in adding that because I was at that meeting and the concern was the lights going into their windows and the church seemed okay with that, so.
So what is your request?
My request is that they add to the stipulation, where the light is not illuminated between 9 and 6 a.m., 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning. Also, that they provide greenscape to block, the illumination from the residents, from the project.
Okay. So are you making that?
There was actually one other, the request that came from the township supervisor also had a third item on it, which was that this sign expire when the building changes ownership.
Okay.
I just, what the township had asked for, I would like to be put on as conditions for the special use.
Okay. Mary, how do I go about doing this then? Do we just take a vote on Mr. Butler's addition? Add conditions? Okay.
Can you separate them, please?
Sure. Mr. Butler, if you wouldn't mind, would you do one condition at a time? And then I can put a motion, you can motion, and second, we'll have discussion and we'll go through that.
Okay, my first motion is to provide greenscape to block illumination for residents.
Second, discussion, Mrs. Trinier?
Yes, that actually is my concern because if you're blocking it, now people are going to have to look twice as hard to see what the sign says.
Oh, I'm
And I-
sorry, that's not next to the sign, it's on
Okay,
the sides
see,
of the
that's
property.
kind of hard for me to understand. And even looking at the packet yesterday, and this picture that they have up right now might be a little better, but at the same time, that picture doesn't show where the sign's going to go, or if it does, I can't quite locate it.
Well, the sign is actually right off the street in the center of the property. That was one of the variances that they requested, that it moved to 175 to 300, because if they did 300, it put it too close to either side of the
Right,
people around.
no, I get that. So if you look at that red line on the right-hand side and you see the round circle on the left of it, kind of looks like a C at the top, well, just below the driveway, but above the parking lot. I think that's what I'm looking at. Is that right where she has the pointer? Is that where the sign is going? In that circle?
In that
No,
area,
I think it's in the very center, which would be like directly
No, it's
out
okay.
from the church.
I just need to know where the sign's going and where you're suggesting
So-
that these bushes go.
It's 175 feet from the property line. That's what the variance was.
That doesn't tell me anything.
What is do
There-
we know what the width of the property
Can
is?
we let the staff person
Yep.
tell us here?
there is a site plan that's included in the staff
Yeah,
report. I do want to mention, since the variance for the right-of-way setback was denied, they will have to move it to meet the 10-foot requirement. So it's, the site plan, it's going to be a little farther back from the road than what's shown.
Again, I can't even envision where you would put these bushes with, because you need to see the aerial, right? To see where the houses are and then see where the sign would go and then make a suggestion about where the bush would go. I wouldn't just say, make it a condition, because then without telling them exactly where you want them, you don't know that it's going to meet
So
your goal.
I'd like to amend it
Yeah.
to placing.
Yeah.
So they are going to put it right where the wood sign is right now.
No, they
Not
will have to
necessarily.
move it farther back because where the sign is currently located, it's within the right-of-way.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be closer to where the property is.
Closer to the church.
Yes.
Okay, and so again, I would to vote yes on this, which I would very much like to do, because I understand what you're trying to do. I think I would need to see an overhead picture of where these bushes would go that would quote unquote potentially block light, but not block the sign. Because if you block the sign, you're gonna have people gawking and doing crazy things while they're in their car driving by, I think. Because they're trying to read the sign and there's a tree in the way or a bush in the way. So that's my concern.
So we would be talking about on the side yard, like on the side properties where it affects the properties to either side on the property line.
Again, it can't,
Okay, maybe
right, to there. But where would you put these bushes?
Mr. Shepherd,
Oh,
the
that
applicant,
wouldn't block
the
it.
applicant is here. Maybe we can just try to see if he has any objection to
It'd be
that.
decorative. If that's where they put them. And I'm not trying to debate the issue. I'm just saying that wouldn't block lighting. Yes.
So.
Yeah, I got everybody. I do have everyone listed. I do.
So the interesting thing about the sign itself, the sign is built with some columns that are meant to block. So if you look at that sign, there's only one house across the street that has, it's right in front of the church, and it's garage, and there's no windows on that side of the house. What they were talking about was the sign going north and south. There's nobody to the north of us. There's houses to the south. Most of those houses have trees in their backyards already that block to the parking lot. We were thinking that we would just do things that are decorative because the sign itself does block the side view.
Those posts on the
Those
side.
posts on the side, so you'd be a setback to the sign right here so that nobody to the east of us would be able to really see it, and then we're to the west. So the bushes we were talking about, you're right, if we put big bushes up, it would make it hard to see the sign. And the issue with the two residents that came, one lives in that subdivision way down there, so the sign's like a postage stamp. And the only way he can see it is from the second floor. So, and we said that the sign actually illuminates less than what we would have with our spotlights on it now. So the light pollution is less with the digital sign. And so we just thought, because we do a lot of things that are the residents, we do a food pantry, we do things for single moms. They usually get a lot of that from there versus the website. It's on our website and everything, but it's amazing how people see that stuff.
No, this sign really makes a difference. There's too much stuff on the internet.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so
Unfortunately, I don't think I can support pushing them to put up bushes based on what he's saying.
okay.
If it's really that far away, I don't know.
All right,
Thank
well, we do have more comments. Member Pretzel, then member Newquist, and member Hickey, and then member Freeman on this bush item.
Ashlyn, which variance did PZC vote no to?
They voted no to variance request number 4, the variance for minimum setback from a street right away from a freestanding sign from 10 feet to 2 feet.
Okay. The other variances stand though.
Yep, all 3 other variances were approved.
Okay, and then for the applicant, I heard board member Butler say that, or maybe it was Chair Van Dyne say that you were okay with the greenery that the Green Garden Township requested?
Yeah, the greenery we were putting on there was really going to be on the one side of the sign to complement the already side partition. That was all we were planning on doing. If you go down the road of our property, could, but it wouldn't do anything for the sign. So.
This was a request from the township and you were like, fine, if that's what you want, I'll do it.
Yeah, we would put those bushes there as best we can to help, but we just didn't want to do them to block the sign.
It's not something you're really interested in doing.
We would do it to do it because we talked all through the variances and we're a good community partner. We were in agreement to try to do what they requested.
Right, you'll do what you need to do. Got it. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Newquist?
Thank you. So I'm having trouble envisioning, and maybe it's my misunderstanding, but one of the variances is to make the sign taller, correct?
than what's permitted in that
Permitted in
zoning.
residential. So if that's the case, how is the greenery gonna help anyway? Because unless we have, I'm thinking from a distance, you've got the sign, this 11-foot sign. I'm having a hard time envisioning what greenery you could plant that would help shield the residents to the south from the sign.
I can explain that the digital portion is lower. It's within the variance, but there's a top bar on top of it.
Okay, that makes it 11.
That's part of the sign to give it a frame.
Got
That's
it.
part of the 11.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Hickey?
Hi, thank you. Just out of curiosity, I know it's dynamic sign and you're talking about no animation, is that correct? So the difference between, it would just be not flashing lights, that kind of thing that would be like epilepsy inducing kind of stuff. Okay, all right, I just want to make sure. So, but it will change, the text will change, just not in an animated way.
Correct, yeah, so no flashy movements or flashing lights. It would just be more of like a slideshow.
Thank
Like
you.
PowerPoint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Member Freeman?
Actually, they have answered my questions. I
Okay,
just didn't have a
great.
chance to turn my light off.
Okay, Mr. Butler made the motion. Are you comfortable with that?
As long as, we're clear that whatever you agreed to at the meeting with the bushes, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for anything more or less,
Okay.
just what, I didn't know exact placement of the bushes.
Do you want to continue with your motion or?
I do.
Okay, I'll ask for a roll call. Yes, we do have a first and second. Let's have a roll call on that condition, please.
Restate the. Yeah.
Sure.
The applicant, provide greenscape to partially block illumination from residents as agreed.
If it's already was agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Mr. Pretzel wants to withdraw his second. So Mr. Butler, let's go ahead and state your original motion that
Okay.
you want to see. We'll get through this.
Well, it's not for nothing for the people of Green Garden who actually, There was quite a few people at the meeting, okay? Only a couple people like that were vocal about it, but it was a pretty good meeting.
All right,
I'm just gonna put it
Yeah.
out there because I represent them and that's what they want.
make your motion.
I make the motion to provide the greenscape to block illumination, from the residents.
Okay, second. All right, can I have a roll? Or do we need more discussion? Yep. Member Newquist. go
Thank
ahead.
you. Just a clarification, where do you want him to provide the
So as
greenscape?
he explained that during the meeting, they agreed that they would put bushes to help widen that little bit of a path on each side. It's still not gonna block all the illumination, but it seemed to appease some of the people there.
Sure.
Okay. Mary, would you like to interject before we take a roll?
I do, just because in listening to this, I'm wondering, how are we going to enforce this? I don't know what this means. How high do you want the bushes? What distance do you want the bushes? That's the type of information that we need to be able to enforce require a condition like this. So if you want to work on more specificity, and give staff the ability to work with Mr. Butler, if you approve this, to put more specificity on it before it gets to county board. But I think there needs to be more specificity.
Okay, I'm just reading what the Green Garden Township had provided land use for their conditions. So I'm kind of just repeating what they're saying, so.
I understand, and that's fine. We just need a little more guidance.
Okay, well, sure. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Richmond.
I apologize, your name I forget.
It's Mike Shepherd.
Mike. So let me ask you a question. The sign that you have right now, is that currently illuminated with spotlights overnight?
Yes.
So what you're proposing is to take the light off of it from 9 till sunrise or something like that. So actually your amount of illumination is going to be a lot less.
Correct.
Now, I don't know. I know you can go out there with a photometer or something like that, measure how much light pollution there is. And I would bet that probably the light pollution from your sign today is going to be less than the overnight, you know, blasting of, I don't know how bright those lights are. I totally get where Dan's trying to go and work within the confines of what the township wants and that. And I hear Mary on what she's trying to say is how do we properly package this up? It sounds like we're overthinking this a little bit. And from that position, I mean, I'd be interested in trying to move this forward. And maybe then you guys work out as community what you need to do. Try and keep government out of the business and work within the confines of, you know, the couple of residents or the township. Maybe just have a meeting like that. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I like people to take care of things at their level and not bring it to government, because then we start spending a lot of time writing up a lot of words and it just kind of muddies the water sometimes. So if that makes,
So I can see that we don't have enough information to properly put a motion on the table, so I'll withdraw my motion. Like I said, I was just trying to, you know, relay what they wanted.
Understood. I appreciate that, Mr. Butler. Okay, motion is rescinded. Do you have another condition that you want to address?
The other one was that they wanted to make sure that the sign would not stay if you ever sold a building, that this use of this lit up sign would no longer,
So,
Special use permit is only for the church.
yeah.
okay.
Isn't that how it works?
That's how I thought it was.
Is that, Ms. Kirby, is that how it's listed now?
Right now, the applicant applied for the special use to be transferable. So if the church sold the property, the special use for the dynamic display would basically run with the land until the use is no longer occurring for a period of 2 years or more.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's part of business. When you invest in something and you potentially sell it, you want to recoup your money, and some folks may want to buy the property because there is a digital sign. So I would prefer it be transferable, to be honest. And I see a question from,
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Van Dyne. I'm okay with it being transferable as long as the guidelines are also transferable, meaning they can't have it after 9 PM or before 6 AM. If the rule's going to stay the same, which I assume it is because this is part of the permit, then I'm okay with it being transferable.
Yeah, so just to clarify with that, exactly what you're saying with the special use, with it being transferable, all the conditions will also be transferable.
okay. Is that a motion?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm gonna make the motion that it is not transferable.
Okay. Is there a second on this board? I'm not hearing a second. All right.
On my part.
Yeah. Any other conditions? I think you had two. Is that,
That was
we're
it.
good? Okay. So to move forward, we do have a first and a second. Are we interested in a clean roll or previous?
Previous.
Thank you. Second, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. All right.
Thank you, thank you.
I didn't. really care.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Mr. Shepherd, thank you.
I actually know.
I believe number 23 is also part of land use. So number 22, Scrivener's error correcting zoning case 24-045. Any comments on that?
Yeah, just to briefly state Marguerite Kenny, Will County Land Use. So number 22 and 23, number 22 for ZC 24045. The attached ordinance just does not put numbers with conditions, and typically with our conditions, we list them as by number. So it's just the Scrivener's error correcting by putting numbers on that resolution. And then number 23, which would be a separate vote. The applicant prefers to have the project name also included on the ordinance. So with the description, since it is Next Amp LLC, they would like, or Nexam Solar LLC, they would like to add doing business as Templeton Renewables LLC. And then also add the conditions for that special use that was approved as part of the staff report.
Okay. Okay, second, previous roll and second and previous roll. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion will carry. Number 23, Scrivener's error, correcting zoning case 24-046.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Previous. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. Number 24, recommendation for naming of the new park. Annette Linko, would you like to step up and just let us know what we're doing with this?
Yeah, so this is the property where the old courthouse is. We've been trying to name it something so that we just stop calling it the old courthouse property. I sent out a survey to the 22 board members. Do you have that? No. I sent out a survey to 22 board members, super quick. It was 3 questions. Which name do you like? Pick one. Unfortunately, I only received 7 responses out of the 22. I only received 7 of the 22 members' responses. Based on that, Courtside Plaza had the most votes. And so that's where we're at right now.
Was this on here to actually have this executive committee recommend a name to the full board as of today? Or it is? Well, my suggestion, and okay, I'll let Mrs. Trenier go first. Your microphone is on.
I have reasons for and against each one of them. I can live with Courtside Plaza. I was more in favor of Champion Square. I thought Otto Stark Plaza was an insult to the designer. We tore down his building because we told everybody it was ugly and unfit for human habitation. And now we're going to name the park after him? Whoa, I couldn't go there. And, you know, I mean, I guess the first judge I could live with too, but I just didn't want to get into making it a person's name per se, because once we decide to do something else with this property, which could eventually happen, now we're going to take somebody's name off the property and insult some more people. So even with saying that all out loud, now I'm even more in favor of Courtside Plaza, because I'd hate for Joliet Township High School Band to get mad at us for taking off Champions. So I can definitely go with Courtside Plaza.
And I'll come across the room here, Mr. Butler, and then Mrs. Williams. Miss Williams.
So I just noticed that one of the names that weren't on there was the one that I had proposed, Ladies of the Grand Army of the Republic Park. I know it's a long name.
It
but-
was on the survey, so it's not on the initial, this was the initial
I'm
list.
just gonna finish, that's all right.
Okay.
I'm just saying, the only reason I said that was because, you know, they were the people that, you know, had a plaque that was on one of the statues for the park, and I just thought, you know, ever talking to a lot of the Civil War reenactment people, and, you know, they really cared about those, statues, and it just seemed to be a historic thing where, you know, they were, you know, honoring these people, the Civil War. And I just thought you don't hear too much of the women from back there, especially groups, you know, supporting the Army and the sailors. So that's why I had put that on there. I know it's a mouthful.
Member Williams?
Yes, the ad hoc old courthouse committee went by the survey, even though it was only 7 responses, and Courtside Plaza is the one that got the most votes. So that's the reason why we had suggested that be the name.
No, these 7 surveys, they weren't just county board members. It was open to the public.
No, it's just county board members.
Okay. Well, my personal feeling is if only 7 board members responded, I would like to try to give them some more time, and maybe possibly even open it up to the Will County members, give them a list to narrow down to the 5 and let the county residents have a say so as well. But I might be the only one. Of course, Jackie does kind of bring up a good point. So yeah, I don't know how to move forward here. I would prefer, at least if we keep it within the county board, we get more opinions. That would be my suggestion, but I will go to Kelly Hickey, Board Member Hickey.
Thank you. This is a general question. I tried to look this up. Do we have the authority to be naming this piece of property? We do. Okay. And I did not receive an email, so if you can send one to me.
That was prior. So this
Okay,
was sent out.
I just want to make sure I didn't
yes.
miss something.
No,
I'm
this
new
was
at this, so I want to make sure I'm checking everything.
Yeah, this was sent out, and don't quote me on that, but it was either late October or early November. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Now we do have, in order to make the decision, we do have 3 brand new board members, and if you folks don't mind, maybe we give everyone another opportunity to voice their opinion. So I would accept that. Second, I have a first and second it to postpone this naming of the new park. There's a previous roll. Second, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. All right. Okay, last item on our, thank you, Annette. Number 25, appointments by the county executive. Number 1, approving county executive appointments to the Board of Health of Will County. Is there a motion? Thank you. I don't think so. No. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. Number 2, approving county executive appointments to Joliet Regional Port District of Will County. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. And number 3, county executive appointments for the Community Health, Mental Health Board of Will County. Discussion. We have a motion and a second. Open up for discussion. Mr. Richmond.
I did notice on this, usually when we get these, we get like information, a bio, a resume or something like that. And we didn't get that this time. And I'd like to see us get that information because, I know Elle, but the other, I'm assuming it's another lady's name. We have no information at all on them. So I think, that'd be something that we all deserve.
Okay, Mr. Mahoney, you got a comment?
Yep, and I'm gonna assume with the changeover that it might got lost in the shuffle, but we always send the board bios to the board. And so the other member for this one, they are an RN at Lightways Hospice. Yeah, I can send that over to you right now if you need it.
You send that to Mr. Pelkey and he can distribute that, or, okay. Thank you. I don't remember if those bios. Okay, yeah, there's no issue with that. You might be right with the turnover and stuff. We're still trying to see.
Yeah, we have
meet
to
each
send
other.
these over. It's I think the Tuesday before, so it would have been the end of November we sent them over, so.
Okay. Ready to proceed then? Oh, Board Member Dean Schlattman?
How many people are on the Mental Health Board of Will County?
It's a 9-member board.
I do have a question. How do you go about finding out who wants to be on it, or is there an application process?
Our applications are open and online at all points in time. And so I know we just sent over a list to the board too of any expiring appointments this year too. So always take a look at that if you have anyone who's interested or you think would be a good fit for a board position.
Good.
I had asked at last month's executive committee meeting, if y'all will recall, maybe I didn't make it public. But I asked the former chief of staff, you know, are we going to get a list? Because we usually get it like in December-ish, maybe November, I don't know, annually of all the appointments that will be available for that year. And that is published on the website. I won't say anything good about the website, so I'll say nothing at all.
It's going away.
But it is going away and a new one is coming.
And I did see that copy of all the appointments, I believe, and I don't know if it was shared, but Mike, if,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Then I didn't see.
I know that one got shared with all the board members.
3 weeks ago.
All right,
Yeah, well, that would have been our.
Member Ortiz?
So I know L is being reappointed. This other person, Christina Centeno, are they replacing somebody else?
This is a vacancy on the board, and I believe it was a gentleman named DeYoung.
Okay.
Who resigned from the board
Okay, thank you.
in August, call it somewhere around there.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Member Freeman?
Yeah, I knew that, oh, wait, I knew that, Natalie Coleman was on the, Health Department's board. And so I got online. It isn't the easiest to find, but you can find the application and you just submit it and the process is out there. So, that's how I got my name in the pot.
All right, any other questions or comments on number 25-3? Looking for a previous role? Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. All right. Ran through that agenda fairly quickly. Other new business, I don't believe we. I think I have it written down. Thank you, Mike. Yep. Other new business, none. Request for state's attorney's opinion. I'm sure Ms. Tatro has an opinion on a lot of things, but nothing to share with us today. Committee reports. We did not have any committees this month, but I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our committee chairs at this time. So Land Use and Development, Chair Pretzel, thank you. Finance Chair is Member Newquist, Chair Newquist. Public Works and Transportation, Chair Trenier. Oh, okay, well then I'll stop right there then. Chair Trenier, let me turn you on. Oop.
I have been attending online meetings about clean transportation. And Will County had applied for a grant to develop a clean transportation program. We developed it, and the Illinois Alliance for Clean Transportation gave Will County an award last night. It was a very informative meeting. We did get 3 really good things out of this process that we did, and we included a lot of the private sector in this collaboration. We got a online tool that will help both businesses and government entities figure out where there are alternative fueling and charging stations. We developed a plan to switch over the Will County fleet at some point where it makes sense. So we did some good things with this, and this group that's been in existence for over 30 years and actually is headed by the gentleman that used to run the fleet for the DuPage County Forest Preserve. They gave us an award last night, and I believe it's going to get posted somewhere outside the boardroom shortly.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know.
Great, thanks for the report, and I apologize for skipping over it. So I would like to give Mr. Chair Pretzel the opportunity. Nothing?
Just looking forward to serving as chair of the Land Use Committee for another term and appreciate your confidence in me. So, looking forward to working with staff again. Thank you.
Yeah, you betcha. Chair Newquist on finance?
I have nothing except to say thank you, and thank you, Frankie, for being chairman of land use again.
We heard from Chair Trinier, Public Works and Public Safety, Chair Butler. Okay. Legislative Chair, Member Chair Ortiz, welcome. Capital Improvements and IT, Chair Freeman. Landfill Chair Dean Schlattman, once again. And Executive, I am the Chair of the Executive Committee, and we have chosen, both parties have chosen Vice Chair Richmond to help us out with that. So I'll tell you that coming up with these chairs and committee vice chairs and committee assignments, I really, the three of us in leadership have spent a lot of time trying to satisfy both parties and try to take some experience and sprinkle in some new folks here and there and try to accommodate everybody's requests for the committees that they would really like to serve. It was extremely hard. I didn't think it would be that hard. But I wanted to thank the both of you for participating in that. And I want to welcome all the new chairmen of our committees, and I'm super excited to work with each and every one of you. I feel really capable that we can all work together and try to do some great accomplishments at least the next couple of years. So thank you, everybody, for putting your name down and being willing to chair. I know it's different than a board member. You have to spend a lot more time doing your research and working with staff. And so I just like to say thank you for stepping up. Sure.
So as a former chair of the Public Health and Public Safety, we had two outstanding items that I don't know where I need to mention them. One was that the new committee should consider, it came through Kim Flathammer and Judy Ogala, and I talked to Raquel Mitchell, my vice chair, and I think I talked to Katie Dean Schlottman as well, about having a tour of the health department right out the door so that any new members on the committee can get acquainted with all the services instead of spending a year and a half having them all come in. And the other one is a balloon ordinance that had come to me from Member Ortiz, but I didn't get it in time for the November meeting, and I have shared that with staff. So whoever it is, which is you, Mr. Butler, can look at that, and it came out of NACO. So those are the two outstanding things that came out of Public Health and Public Safety. So I didn't want you to be sideswiped with that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Micah. The ad hoc committee reports, leadership has not finalized the ad hoc committees as of yet, but I believe Mr. Butler was the ad hoc Access Will County chair last term, and he has something to mention.
I'm sorry, I passed out a proposed resolution for everybody to look at. It's kind of where we left off with the meeting. If anyone wants to catch up on what happened and what was proposed, there was one amendment. Kelly was there, so she had a language amendment, which I was happy to put in there. I don't have anything further to say. There was no recommendations made yet, but I just wanted to catch everybody up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so any old chairs for the old courthouse, or I wouldn't say old, but any ex-chairs of the old courthouse or the former, thank you, ad hoc ordinance review, anyone have anything to add there? Member Williams?
I was the vice chair of the old ad hoc old courthouse.
Okay,
And that was where this came up about the naming of the park. So you guys have that information. So
Okay.
that's all.
very good. Okay, open this up to public comment. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak to the executive committee today? No one? We're all doing a fantastic job, I guess. Announcements and reports by chair. I just made my announcement. I wanted just to welcome all the chairs and no sense repeating it, but I'm really excited, that, I'm very confident in the chairs, and I think everything's gonna work out pretty well for us. So thank you again for that. Um, I will, yeah, right before we approve the county board agenda, I think. So I don't believe there's any need for executive session. So before we make an approval of the county board agenda, there's 3 items that I would like to save space for. Number one, let's see here, bringing District 5's vacancy name forward. I'd like to save space for that at the full board meeting. Number 2, and help me out with this, Member Trenier, access Will County resolution. Do you want to speak on that? Your intentions there?
Forward with approving the plan. We're already funding it. We added, what did she say, 4 new townships this year. We just approved at least here at executive, the PACE agreement. I think we should just move forward and approve the entire plan.
Okay.
That way the other townships can be brought on board. They're not being left out of the loop. Yeah, I want to bring forward that resolution again.
Okay, so we'll leave space for that item, or at my request, and then also save space to set our 2025 meeting schedule to the full board. So with those 3 added items, yes, ma'am?
Question about the meeting schedule, because we don't have it. And maybe a question, a comment. We frequently do things a little differently in July because of NACO. And I would just like to see us planning ahead for that and have it not be a last minute decision. I know they changed the meeting date a couple of times in the last 4 years, but prior to that, we never changed the July meeting date. The things just worked around it, because I think the reason they changed it was to give people an extra travel day. And, we used to get by without that extra travel day for many, 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 many years. I just like to know the schedule up front. That's my thing.
Well,
July seems to be the month that we play around with
Yeah.
frequently at the last minute.
Okay. The potential schedule is basically the first Tuesday and Thursday, the second Tuesday and Thursday, and then the third Thursday would be the final board. Yeah, so we can have Chuck in your office, take a look at that. We do have some time there, but, I know they already came back with a couple revisions on Veterans Day and something else that we just had to move it one day, due to holiday, but our effort was to try to streamline and keep folks, their time constraints and try to get them in here and get them out and not have to come as many days. I know everyone travels far away. We're trying this new little schedule and hopefully it works. It was, and if it doesn't, it's Mr. Richmond's fault. So. Is there a comment on before we move on to approve the county board agenda? No comments? Dan, I'm sorry, Mr. Butler.
Just about the NACO thing. I mean, I guess you'd have to check the schedule at NACO, because a lot of people go there for specific conferences or whatever. And, we wouldn't want them to miss that. So rather than just make a blanket statement, I think, given that extra day is good. Because as it is, it goes on for 5 days. I mean, I don't think anyone actually stays for 5 days.
And I want to say in our rules, if somebody has to miss a committee, we can appoint somebody from the same political party. So if that has to happen too, we always have that option. So, all right, looking for a motion to approve the county board agenda. Motion and a second. Previous roll. As amended, thank you. Second, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Our next scheduled meeting is January 2nd, 2025. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Let's say to be determined, because I believe we're going to do one executive committee the second week. So Our next scheduled meeting is to be determined. You, all you folks will find out. Motion to adjourn. Did I already do that? No, motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right.
It looks like it's